Milwaukee in the national spotlight because of the Miz, Jacob Misiorowski. He did not disappoint, and it was a great day for Brewers baseball. We'll explain all of it coming up next here on Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yeah, it was a great day for Brewers baseball. It was a great day because the Brewers had someone that they haven't ever had. A guy who you could really sink your teeth in as far as a pitcher and maybe as an overall baseball player, period. And it's just something you could really get excited about. A pitcher like this, a marketable player who, again, the Brewers have not had a guy like this ever in their franchise history. We'll talk more about that coming up here in a little bit. Chuck Freeman, Locked On Brewers. Good to have you long time sportscaster here in the state of Wisconsin, proud host of Locked On Brewers. Thanks for making us your first listen to every day. The Brewers have had guys come through over the years, over their 55-year history. Teddy Higuera, Dan Plesac, Juan Nieves, Ben Sheets. Then there were some that didn't pan out, like Jimmy Nelson, Nick Neugebauer, and I'm sure there's others as well. But nobody has made the impact quite like Jacob Misiorowski did at AmFam Field, packing the place. Now the Brewers say 42-7 in the stands, 42,700. Yeah, there were some empty seats. So maybe it was 42-7 season tickets, but certainly the Brewers and Pirates wouldn't have anything close to that on a Wednesday afternoon, wherever you played that game. So it was a buzz in that place. You could tell the moment that you walked from your car and were coming into the ballpark on Wednesday afternoon, that this was something special. And I've been there for playoff games before and all that. And that's a different kind of special. This was regular season special. It's like you're trying to find out, when's the next time the Miz is going to pitch? Because we're talking about a 6'7" pitcher who's throwing 100 miles an hour plus, intimidating guys, blowing it by guys, making guys look silly. And as a baseball fan, that's fun to watch. And the Brewers haven't had a guy like this. They haven't had a guy like this be as dominating as he's been through 3 starts so far. And he's going out there, and he's just been amazing. Throwing 100 miles an hour. There are Miz jerseys out there. And there were people who were just so excited to see this guy. And plus, with Paul Skeens on the other hand, pitching for the Pirates, who started for the National League last year in the All-Star game, there was a special intrigue. You had 2 guys who were 23 drawing all this attention for this game. But I think if the Miz pitched next week, now he's going to be on the road. He's scheduled to pitch next Wednesday against the Mets. The Brewers haven't officially announced that, but it sounds like he's going to pitch against the Mets. That was a home game. I still think they would draw 35,000 fans, at least, maybe 40,000. It doesn't matter who was pitching on the other end. I think fans just want to come out and see this guy pitch because we haven't had a guy, a true ace like this. Now, this is an ace. We're not talking about an ace. This is the kind of guy we're talking about right here. A guy who you could sink your teeth in. That, other teams have had him. Roger Clemens. I'm not comparing him to these guys, but you know what an ace is. An ace is a guy who is going to fill the stands. He's going to put seats in stands. People are going to get excited. Oh, when is this guy going to pitch? Oh, I got to make sure I watch him on TV tonight. I got to make sure I'm there. The Brewers haven't had that guy. I mean, we all like Ben Sheets and some of these other guys, Juan Nieves and Teddy Higuera, but there never was someone like this guy right here where you just have to stop. He is the Brewers' Giannis. With the Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's a guy must watch TV. When he's on, you stop to see what he's doing. The Brewers haven't had that type of guy. Jackson Chourio, yeah, he's a special player, but I'm talking about a pitcher that when he is on the mound, he is going to be a draw. Some of these other guys the Brewers, have in the rotation are all having terrific years, but this guy is something special. People are going to pay are going to want to come out and see him. This is going to be the summer of Miz in Milwaukee. All right. And I feel like I'm not jumping too far ahead here. I know he's only made 3 starts, but what I've seen of him, that's plenty enough for me. I've seen enough of him to say this guy could be great. This guy could be just fantastic. 5 scoreless innings, 2 hits. Took him out after 74 pitches. And I thought, maybe he could have gone another inning. He might be on an innings count as well. The Brewers aren't telling us. But, he's logged all these innings in the minors this year. And we'll see. These major league clubs do not want to overuse these guys. And I know old schoolers out there, and Adam McKelvey tells me this, Chuck, this isn't 1987 anymore where pitchers are doing this, are throwing 330 innings. It's not that way anymore. And I get it. But these pitchers are on pitch counts, on innings counts, through their innings. And this is why guys get shut down. I don't even want to think that far ahead, but I feel like the Miz coming out after 74 pitches might have had something to do with it. I feel like Skeens, who went 4 innings and came out of that game, his team was down 4-0. I felt like they almost shut him down because they figured Miz is on the hill. We're not scoring. Not that we think we're going to lose this game, but why should we waste the innings and the pitch count on Paul Skeens? Save him for, live for another day with Paul Skeens. And with Miz, they got 5 innings out of him, 4-0 lead. I'm not saying that was insurmountable, but they got him out of there. 74 pitches. Murphy said after the game, he told Misiorowski, and not that the Miz seems like a pretty mild-mannered guy, low-keyed guy, doesn't get really excited about a lot of things. He said, "Remember, this isn't the Miz show. This is the Milwaukee Brewers and 8 guys behind." Yeah. And that's Murphy right there. Again, I don't think that had to be addressed at all, but this was all about the team. And I think everybody knows that. And this is why the Brewers are 9 games over the 500 mark. They don't have a lot of egos on this team. They don't have an O'Neill Cruz who's walking the first base or leaving a ball go under his glove and failing to chase it. They don't have guys like that. They got guys who go all out on this team. And this is why, again, they're not the most talented team. I know some of you are upset when I say that, and you should know this. They're not the most talented team, but they get the most every ounce out of it. And to have a guy like Jacob Misiorowski, man, after 55 years of watching Brewers baseball, we deserve something like this. We do. Now, you know what it is? It's up to Mark Attanasio over the next 6 years of this guy's locked-in career with the Milwaukee Brewers. We don't waste this talent. All right? Let's not waste this guy's ability on mediocre baseball teams. We got something special here with Misiorowski, and let's make sure we build around this guy. He's making a low salary. He's not really counting against their salary much, right? The Brewers they owe it to the fans. They owe it to the Milwaukee Brewers organization to build around this guy, and don't waste the next 6 years of his career throwing out guys you're finding in the phone book, which Attanasio has done. Yeah, he's reached in the phone book and said, get this guy or get this guy. Blue light specials. We don't need any of that anymore. So, yeah, my biggest fear is Attanasio would be wasting this guy's career and not building around him. We already depend too much on the pitching staff the way it is. But let's not take having a guy like this for granted. Like we're just going to jump on Miz's shoulders every game and hope he throws 7 shutout innings, right? And the bullpen takes over. Dan Plesac had some big words to say. Big words to say about Misiorowski. And Plesac, 3-time All-Star, Brewers all-time save leader. We'll talk about that coming up next here on Locked On Brewers. Supply House, a great sponsor here on Locked On Brewers. When you need supplies, those of you guys who are in the skilled trades out there, Supply House, if you're in the plumbing, HVAC, or electrical works, we got some of these guys in our neighborhood who make this country turn. They're in this field. They're in all these fields. Supply House is a reliable way for guys like that to order products online. I've turned them on to Supply House with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts, over 400 of the top brands out there. You'll find exactly what you need, and you'll get fast delivery from coast to coast. And right now, Supply House, they're offering expert support and industry-leading service. You're not going to get a recorded message. You're going to be talking to a live person. And their free Trademaster program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, discounts in every order. Thousands upon thousands of skilled professionals already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. You Trademaster out there, get involved in this Trademaster program, supplyhouse.com/TM, supplyhouse.com/TM. Start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks and help your business out. Use the promo code SH5, 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com, supplyhouse.com. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. We're going to talk mostly about the Miz in this podcast. You know, I thought they were joking when they said the Miz's walk-up music when he was introduced was the Miz, the wrestler, the Miz. I wasn't really thinking they were serious about that, but yeah, they play awesome. They play that. Pretty cool. The Miz has got his own walk-up music. And is the Miz, the wrestler, the Miz? I think the Miz is still wrestling. I don't watch wrestling as much at all anymore, but I grew up a big wrestling fan. And before you tell me, yeah, I know we're all in on it, but yeah, I stopped probably watching it when the Miz had his run, probably 2015. I think he still wrestled after that. But anyway, it was kind of cool to hear the Miz awesome music as his intro music today. Dan Plesac called Miz, and I kind of referred to this as the best pitching prospect in Brewers history on MLB Network on Wednesday. And some of the guys on the panel on the network show were a little surprised that he said that, which I'm stunned at. Wait, I shouldn't be stunned at it because the guys who are probably on the panel don't follow the Brewers anyway. Dan Plesac at least has an interest in following the Milwaukee Brewers. He's an alumni, all-star from 87 through 89, one of the all-time, if not the best closer in Brewers history. That could be argued, but a 3-time all-star. Plesac was great, and he knows pitching, and he's a thoughtful guy, and he's been around. He pitched here in the 80s, and he knows. He has seen this organization. He has watched this organization. He follows the Brewers. And he mentioned Higuera, Nieves, and Sheets and guys like that. He said this is the best pitching prospect. Guy 6'7", coming at you with that angle and that big tilt. And Plesac went on and on to describe and gloating about Jacob Misiorowski. Gloating about Jacob Misiorowski. All right. We'll give the Miz a rest here for a second here. One thing I want to allude to. Yeah, 42,700 at the game. Tuesday night, in the Brewers' 9-3 win, there was 31,000 against the Pirates. In contrast, the St. Louis Cardinals on Wednesday. And the Cardinals, for years, we've known them to be great baseball fans, right? They pack the ballpark no matter who it is. You know, they're supposed to be the best fans of baseball. I'm just saying what they say. they come out and they support Cardinals baseball. Well, the Cardinals are right there with the Brewers in the race of the NL Central. And when the Cardinals and the Cubs are playing, that's for sure a full house. And the Cardinals beat the Cubs in the first 2 games of the series. Cardinals drew 30,000 fans on Wednesday night. And you're going to say, wow, 30,000 fans. That's normally that's about 15,000 fans short of a full house at Busch Stadium. So, and the crowds have been down. Even though St. Louis is 7-8 games over the 500 mark, the crowds have been down. But, and this is just a message for ownership of the Milwaukee Brewers. Again, don't take the fans for granted. I think Cardinal fans, I think the organization there took fans for granted for a number of years. Okay. And when the organization began to have some slippage, fans finally said, you know what, we're not going to come out and support this. And now we're getting just 30,000 fans for the Cardinals and Cubs on a Wednesday night after the Cardinals had won the first 2 games of the series. So I'm telling you, if Cardinal fans aren't showing up because they're disgusted on a few things that management and ownership is doing there, even though the Cardinals are, probably overachieving this year, they were supposed to be in a rebuilding year. This can happen to Milwaukee. This could easily happen to Milwaukee. And I'm watching the Pirates today, and I was there for all 3 games of this series, and I was talking to some other guys in the media in the press box. I'm like, thank goodness that we are not the Pittsburgh Pirates. We were from 93 through about 2005, about 12 years there of just putrid baseball. And the Pirates are stuck in this cycle that I don't ever want to go down ever again. We went through some of that for 12 years with the Milwaukee Brewers. And yeah, the Brewers and baseball teams, especially in this market, are going to have down years. Fortunately, for the last 7 years, it hasn't been that way. But I'm watching the Pirates right now, and I'm like, thank God that's not us. Thank God. The Brewers, again, been there 30 years, 25, 20 years ago, watching Brewers baseball this way. Don't want to go down that road ever again. But this is up to the organization. Got to scout well, you got to draft well, and yeah, you do got to spend some money. You do got to, don't take for granted that you could lose a Corbin Burns or trade a Willie Adames, or not trade Willie Adames, or lose a Willie Adames, or trade a Devin Williams. And I'm not saying the Devin Williams trade didn't work out and Willie's having a bad year in San Francisco, but you can't be, after 6 years, be losing these guys all the time. Some of these guys are going to have to re-up. And I know that Yelich had not worked out for the most part. Let's face it. Braun, you could argue about that as well. But you have to re-sign some of these stars. You got to re-sign your stars. Players who are good. You can't afford to say goodbye to Prince Fielder. You gotta keep, this is what I was talking about earlier. Keeping good players around Misiorowski. And you know what? Don't take for granted you're going to get 31,000 on a Tuesday night when the Brewers and the lousy Pittsburgh Pirates are in town. Can't take any of that for granted. Brewer baseball right now, I feel like in the last 2 weeks or so, there's a little buzz with the team right now. I could tell the hits on this podcast here. I could tell when I throw stuff out on Brewers, there is more churn on Brewers baseball these days. And that's a great thing. People are excited about Misiorowski. People are excited the Brewers are 2.5 games behind the Cubs and getting back into things, have pushed to 9 games over the 500 mark. Yeah, there's a buzz being created right now with the Milwaukee Brewers. In the last 2 weeks, that maybe wasn't there for the earlier in the season. And I know some of you are going to say, and I get it, I've been burned by this team too many times because we get to October and this team falls flat on its face. I get it, but it's up to the organization right now to not only, well, it's up to the players actually to keep doing what they're doing, playing hard, playing mistake-free, doing what they did against Skeens today, but it's also it's up to the organization that when the trading deadline comes, that they make some improvements on this team in holes that they deem necessary, and we can see that are necessary. We've talked about that before. It's up to the organization, okay, to do and not be sellers, to be buyers, because they are going to be buyers. They should be buyers. And if they don't do something a month from now, they would have spit in every Brewers fan's face. They got a good thing going here. Let's not take it for granted. And maybe a couple of moves they would have made here in the last couple of seasons would have pushed them past that first round. Maybe they beat Arizona 2 years ago. Maybe they beat the Mets last year. Like I always say, don't take Brewers fans for granted. I saw the 90s when there were 6,000, 7,000 fans there. And you know what? Late 80s when the Brewers had some decent fans, they'd get 12,000, 13,000 a night. Brewers baseball's humming along. Don't take the fans for granted. Ever, 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 ever. All right. I haven't even talked to the fact, really, that the Brewers did a great job on Paul Skeens. 4 innings. He went 4 innings. They hit him up early, that 4-run second inning. And they kind of nickel and dimed him, right? They had a couple of hard hits in the inning. Yelich, an opposite field single. Isaac Collins got the ball rolling. Ike, man, drew a walk. After the game, we interviewed Isaac Collins. He said, I love walks. Who says that? I love walks. But you know what? That's part of baseball. I love them too. That's as good as a base hit. Getting on, leading off an inning with a walk. I'll take that. That's like a sharp single in my book for Isaac Collins. I love walks. Ike, I love walks too. Way to go, Isaac Collins. Brewers in the inning to take advantage of a Pirates error. Yelich, Terang, really the only hard hit balls. Eric Haas hits that little blooper to short center field. O'Neal Cruz made a terrible play on it, and it drops in for a bloop double. They score the run on the error by the Pirates second baseman as well. Little things like that, taking advantage of a team that's not very fundamentally sound, not hustling. Brewers making all the plays once again, scratching out 4 runs against Skeens. Now they only got 2 hits the rest of the game after that 4-run inning, but still, they leaned on the pitching staff, and the Brewers got the win. And took 2 or 3 from the Pirates. Like I said, take 2 or 3. Just keep taking 2 or 3 from these guys, of all your opponents. The Cubs did win, unfortunately. We'll get to the standings. We'll get what's up next for the Brewers. Coming up next here on Locked On Brewers. FanDuel. Did you use FanDuel to get your tickets today? FanDuel's America. I'm sorry. Wrong sponsor. FanDuel. You don't use FanDuel to get your tickets. You get FanDuel to bet. Like the Brewers, who are underdogs today against Skeens. They were underdogs against Skeens. Plus 104 on the line to start the game. Brewers, underdogs. I don't care who's on the mound for the Pirates or anybody. Brewers should never be an underdog at home. Never. Especially against the Pirates, who they own at AmFam Field. Nonetheless, you would have found that out if you were a part of FanDuel. FanDuel, get on all the action, get in the game while with your friends, maybe out and about and doing things. Well, man, you could be in the air conditioning, watching games, being on FanDuel, and making yourself some coin. If you're new to FanDuel, new customers, you can bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today and get started. FanDuel.com, get started. Hey, you're watching all the games anyway, right? Might as well get in all the action and take advantage. You're a new customer. You bet the $5, you get $150 in bonus bets right into your account. And you're going to love their live betting as well. Live betting on FanDuel, it is something special. FanDuel is the best way to make every game more exciting. Go to FanDuel, open up the app, FanDuel.com, to get started today with FanDuel. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. And by the way, before I let you go here, and I'm going to talk about what's up ahead for the Brewers here. Our podcast, you get it on Google, Spotify, Apple. We're on all the major downloads on there. Wherever you download your podcasts, we're on all those podcast downloads, Spotify, Google, Apple. There used to be 1 or 2 a few years ago. There's dozens of them right now. We're on all of them. And set your alert on there. Set us as a favorite. You'll be alerted every time we drop an episode. And if you're already following us on the audio version of YouTube, on the platforms, go to YouTube. Go to our YouTube page. And how do you do that? Well, when you sign into your YouTube, go to sign into search for Locked On Brewers. Hit the subscribe button once you find us. Hit the bell that alerts you every time we drop an episode. Trying to get to 5,000 subs. We're about 4,800 right now. I took over when it was about 600 subs. We're trying to get to 5,000 here in a couple of years. We're doing pretty good. It's because you Brewer fans out there. You guys are the best fans ever. Took a selfie with a guy walking over the bridge today at AmFam Field. His name was Mark. Mark from New Berlin. Appreciate it, Mark. I told you I was going to give you a shout out today, and it was great talking with you and your son. Father and son going to a Brewers game on a Wednesday afternoon. Hey, man, that's my kind of Wednesday. And that was Mark doing a good thing. Knock it off from work, going to the game, and taking his kid to see the Miz. And by the way, the first game I ever took my kid to was the Ben Sheets 18 strikeout game, 2004, May of 2004. My kid was 6, and I took him to the game. He didn't have any idea. We went to the game, and he was hooked. By the next year, I bought him a Prince Fielder jersey, and we bonded on Prince Fielder. He says he still has it. He's 27 now. He still has that jersey. And by the way, Prince Fielder is going to be in the home run derby that the Brewers are going to have on July 25th when they're celebrating the 25th anniversary. I said this last week when the Brewers announced their initial list. Why isn't Prince Fielder on this list? He was doing a home run derby last week. Why wasn't he doing the Brewers one? He hit 50 in one season at one point. Why is Prince Fielder not coming? Sure enough, now Prince is invited. I don't know what that was all about, but Prince should have been first on the list. Cubs ended a 3-game skid. They won in St. Louis 8-0. Brewers stay 2.5 behind the Cubs. And the Brewers will have the day off tomorrow. Cubs play their final game in St. Louis. That's an afternoon game. So an off day for the Brewers, 45-36. Coming into town on Friday, the Colorado Rockies, 18-62. They're terrible. They're bad. Brewers did take 2 of 3 in Colorado back in early April. I was out in Denver for that, and it was a little cool, but Brewers took 2 of 3 there. Hopefully, a sweep here. And I know I've said, hey, as long as you take 2 or 3 from teams, but I think with this lousy team coming here, the Colorado Rockies, I think you got to sweep these guys. You have to sweep. That's the only team I'll say that about in baseball. Of the 29 other teams, a team like this with 18 wins comes in. You take it one day at a time, the old baseball adage, but you're thinking sweep. Have yourself a great day off Thursday, Brewers fans. See you at the ballpark this weekend. Like I saw Mark from New Berlin today. Always stop. You see me? Please stop and say hello. Always love talking Brewers baseball with you as well. And please give us a follow on my Twitter account, Chuck Freeman, FREIMUND. Follow me on Twitter. If you want to DM me, you got a personal question. Well, you know what I'm saying, personal question. A question you want to ask me about the Brewers. Suppose if you want a personal question. If you want to go there, we can figure something out about my life. But let's just keep it the Brewers for now. How about that? But I'm hearing from a lot of people lately. People DM me, and if you want me up on Facebook as well, Chuck Freeman on Facebook, FREIMUND. Hey, we're a great community, Brewers community. We're all in this together. You know me, I've been living here my entire life. I'm a sports fan of all the teams, but the Brewers are my favorite team. And man, I feel really good about the way things are going right now. I wouldn't BS you. If I thought that this wasn't fun or if the Brewers weren't real deal, I'd tell you. But I think they got something going on right here again. They got to make some additions. This is up to management. They need to make some additions here in the next 5 weeks to this roster. They need some upgrades. Don't take for granted that this is the team that's going to be built for October. They still need to get built for October because other teams out there are going to get better, and the Brewers can't sit on their hands. I'll leave you with that. Thanks, everybody. Chuck Freeman, Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. So long, everybody.